right.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Best Starts for Kids Roadshow first annual webinar. We're so glad you could join us this afternoon. My name is Carrie Wade, and I'm the Community Partnerships Program Manager. Before I say anything else, I just want to let you know that we are recording this. So if you choose to not be on video or choose to be on video, you'll need to control that on your end. Currently, you all are muted from our end, and we will definitely open questions and answers later. At that time, we will unmute you so you'll be able to engage with us if you're on phone. You also have the option of submitting questions through Twitter and through IM on the webinar, and over the phone if you're on that way. So with me today is my colleague Megan McJennett, and she is our 5 to 24 policy and program manager. And we also have Ann Buer here. She is our social research, there she is, social research scientist with our data evaluation team. And you're going to hear a little bit today from me in the beginning, and then Megan's going to come on. She's going to give a short presentation, and Ann's going to talk a little bit about data evaluation after that. And then we'll open it up to your questions and do a little question and answer time. So we really want to hear from you today. The other thing that I want to let you know about is we have two amazing people behind the scenes. Our communications specialists, Hannah Johnson and Aaron Murphy, will be running logistics. They will also be the ones fielding your questions to us. So if you see somebody interacting with you via IM, that's probably Hannah. And so they're kind of keeping this whole thing together today because this is our first time using Skype for Business here at the county for a roadshow webinar. So we're learning. We ask that you be patient with us as we go along, and if anything glitchy comes on, if we fall off, don't worry, we'll come right back in and we'll be right back with you if we have any technical difficulties. So having said that, at this time, I want to turn it over to Megan, who is going to ask a few polling questions, and also she's going to be giving you a presentation on what Best Starts for Kids has been up to in the past year. So, all right, Megan.
Thanks, Carrie. Hi, everybody. This is very exciting, a new format for us. So it's great to see you all. I'm just going to start with one poll question, and I just wanted to see how many people have been to our any of our other roadshow events in the last month. So one second while that comes up, and we're working on it. You should, there we go. So if you could just answer yes or no, have you attended the BSK Roadshow in the last month? It'll help me know what to focus on. Ooh. Got like 13 responses. Nice. This is really fun. I'm a little bit impressed by this technology. It doesn't take much, apparently, to impress me. All right, so a lot of people who haven't been to our roadshow, so this is great. I will continue on, and as Carrie said, give you a little update about who we are, what we're doing, and where we're going. So we can go back to the presentation. There we go, slowly coming back. And you can also ask questions in the IM box on the side, and then we'll open it up for verbal questions. All right, there's Best Starts for Kids. What is Best Starts? We are a 5 to 24 strategy that was funded through a tax levy. It was voted on a couple years ago. It was 2 years ago, and then it was our implementation and budget was passed last November. And the vision for Best Starts is fairly simple. It's we want to see more babies born healthy, more kids thriving, and more young people growing up and successfully transitioning to adulthood. It is a little unusual that we have taken the prenatal to 24 look at this for this initiative. It's actually never been done before in the country. Some people have done it in other iterations, looking at prenatal to 8 or 5 to 5 to 18, but we as a county has decided that it would be best to look at the whole gamut from infants to young adults. And how are we going to do it? So we want to increase the good and decrease the bad and intervene when it's necessary. So we have promotion, that's the increasing the good, prevention, prevention where we prevent things from happening, and intervene when things start to go off track. And we also know that in order to make these things sustainable, we have to invest in policy systems and change. So that is, in a nutshell, how we're doing this. So why Best Starts? I mean, look at that baby's face. How can you say no to that baby's face? We know that it's important to invest early and throughout the continuum. So here is the breakdown of the property tax levy investments. We have early learning, which is our investing early strategy. That's our prenatal to 5 years old, and that's about 50% of the levy investments is going in for that period of time. And then, but we know through science that that's really important to invest early in as babies' brains are developing. But then we know in order to maintain all the good gains that they make in the prenatal to 5 area, we have to sustain the gain, and that's our 5 to 24 investments. So it's about 35% of the levy. And then we also need to know where we are starting from and where we're going, and how we are doing it. So that is our investment in data and evaluation. It's about 5% of the levy investments. I know our data and evaluation team will say it's 4.5%. So it's 4.5% of the levy investments. And then we have about 10% investing in healthy communities. So we'll go in a little bit more about those investments here. So the prenatal to 5 strategy is looking at various different, the strategy area is looking at various different strategies. So home-based early learning, home-based services, supports for healthy child development, community-based supports for parents, early intervention services, including infant mental health. And for those of you who are not in the mental health, in the early learning field, infant mental health has to do with attachment, baby-adult attachment. And then child care health consultations to make sure where kids are being cared for are healthy and loving environments. And then we have our 5 to 24 strategies, which is we call the sustain the gain. And that's partnerships with schools. That includes our out of school time strategy, our trauma-informed and restorative justice strategies. Youth development is, and in partnership with schools also our SBIRT strategy. In youth development we have mentoring, youth leadership, positive identity development, and engagement strategies. And then in parent and community connections is working on parent support for those age groups. And then pipeline to success, if you've read our implementation strategy, our implementation plan, it's also referred to as the pipeline, stopping the school to prison pipeline. But again, relooking at how we use our language, we want to not just stop things, but increase good things. So it's not just about stopping the pipeline to prison, but to take that pipeline and redirect it to other good, productive things. And then we have our healthy communities, which includes communities of opportunity and homelessness prevention. And communities of opportunity is a strategy that's been going on for a couple of years now. It's a public-private partnership with the Seattle Foundation and King County. That's a very specific geographic-based strategy that's really working on creating healthy communities with access to jobs, healthy living situations, healthy food access, things like that. And then our other strategy under this umbrella is preventing youth and family homelessness. So this was based on a very successful Gates model funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation that looks at really what are those investments that are needed to prevent youth and families finding themselves without shelter. So what are those small, it's a combination of case management and flexible funding, which that flexible funding goes towards what are those small little investments? Is it a car payment? Is it a electrical bill that needs to get paid that will keep people housed and not end up in homelessness? So that's an overview of our strategies. And now I'm going to pass this on to Anne, who is part of our data and evaluation team, to talk a little bit more about numbers and evaluation. So here you go, Anne. I'm going to slide over here.
Ooh. Hi, everyone. I'm Anne. So as you know, data and evaluation are important for Best Starts for Kids, and we think data matters. We know that Best Starts for Kids dollars are community money, and we want to ensure that our money is going to what works, and we're learning from successes and challenges along the way. Evaluation is what helps us hold ourselves accountable to our vision and to achieve the stated results. And we know we can't do this without community input and participation. Our values, some of our key values are partnership, collaboration, and accessibility. And these values are interwoven into our approach to evaluation. So for example, when applying for Best Starts for Kids, we don't expect everyone to be a data expert. Technical assistance will be available if needed, and we'll work in partnership to develop an evaluation plan that works for everyone and is useful. We also may involve our grantees in evaluation planning and data collection and kind of understanding what it all means. And we will make all data accessible to the community. We'll focus on community-based dissemination. One way that we're doing this is through the kingcounty.gov/BSK indicators website that you see on the slide. That website will feature data that we've collected through the Best Starts for Kids health survey, and it will help you pull from some data resources that can be available to support your application. Strong applications will incorporate data that's aligned with our long-term goals, and we measure those goals through the indicators that are on that website. And Hannah will also be uploading a handout about some tips and tricks for using data and evaluation and telling stories with data. Okay, passing on.
Thanks, Anne. In our first year, we've been really busy. As I mentioned at the beginning, we had the implementation plan was written last year, and the budget was passed in November. And since then, we have been building our team and growing and starting to really formulate all the details that go under the larger strategy areas that were in our implementation plan. So all the things that are coming now are the funding, which I'm assuming is why a lot of you are here today. And from the beginning, I will state that the best way to keep up on our funding opportunities, our job postings, things neat and great from the data and evaluation team is to subscribe to our Best Starts blog, which is on the web address is on the bottom of this screen. So sign up. If you do that, it'll be guaranteed that you'll be the one to see it hot off the presses in your inbox. So we have an RFP. Oh, we can go back. I forget that there's not that other slide. We have an RFP process that we are working hard to streamline and to create some standard questions so that you all will open up the document and say, oh, this is a Best Starts application. And we are trying to make this process as accessible as possible to as many different kinds of organizations that are out there in the county serving children and youth. So, so the process is that we're having a little technical difficulty, sorry, that the RFPs will be released, as I said, on the blog, and we will, thank you, have at least 6 weeks for organizations to respond to the RFP, and all the instructions will be in the RFP that's released. I will say that there may be an opportunity for one organization to apply for multiple RFPs, which is perfectly fine. I just want to make sure that people read the eligibility, because the RFPs will be all different sizes, all different eligibility requirements, and we'll have different focuses, obviously, for different funding strategies. So it's really important that you read all the details in the RFP, so you make sure that you are applying to the one that best fits your program. There is a handout that's that hopefully Hannah can upload, that is a timeline for the RFPs that are coming out this year. We have about a dozen. We have 2 that are active right now. One is our SBIRT, which is the screening, brief intervention, and referral to therapy middle school application. And then we also have the restorative justice and trauma-informed schools mini grant RFP. Because those are active RFPs, I cannot answer questions directly about them, but in the RFP there is instructions on how to get those questions answered. I know the trauma-informed restorative justice is having their own webinar, bidders conference, on May 24th, and I believe that the SBIRT one is having some opportunities for question and answer as well. But I can answer when we open it up for questions. I can answer any of the general questions around RFPs. So I said, so there is also another handout that Hannah should be uploading. That's a one-pager about what is Best Starts and our different buckets for funding. So going back to the timeline, as I said, we have about 12 that are coming out this year, and they range from mini grants all the way up to large RFPs, and they also span the age group from prenatal to 24. And so as I said, I highly recommend reading each of the RFPs very carefully to make sure that whatever your program is, you find the one that best fits. The process for the RFP is that we release it. People have about 6 weeks to respond. Each RFP will have a specific date and time that it will close. I cannot stress enough to note that date and time. We are trying to do things a little bit differently at BSK, but we are working in the context of government. And so if it says that the RFP closes at 2 p.m., it closes at 2 p.m. So that is very important, and I highly recommend that you submit your RFP as early as you can in the process, just to make sure there are no technical glitches that may hold it up. So, and then once the RFP process closes, during that 6 weeks, there's usually either a webinar or what we call a bidders conference, which is just a time for anybody who's interested in learning more or have specific questions around their RFP that they can come and ask those questions. Then we put together a review panel that can consist of county employees, subject matter experts, community members, to review each RFP, each application that we receive. There's lots of conversation and discussion and scoring, and then that recommendation will go to the Department of Community and Human Services and Public Health department heads to make final changes. To make final decisions, and then we will let people who have received awards know, and also the people who did not receive rewards, and then we'll start the contracting process, which is when you will work with the data and evaluation team to come up with performance measures and an evaluation plan, and that will be put into the contract, and then we get the contract signed and all the fun work begins. So this is a very exciting time for us, and I'm sure for you all too, to finally get this money out into the community where it belongs. And we are really trying to do this in the most transparent and accessible way possible. We will be offering technical assistance. Unfortunately, it's not available for the 2 RFPs that are out right now, but will be for future RFPs. We are contracting with some community-based organizations to help other community-based organizations complete their RFPs, especially for organizations that may have never applied for county funding before, or maybe have never successfully applied for county funding, so that they can have a second set of eyes, someone to make sure that the answers are actually answering the question that are being asked, to answer any questions about the RFP. This is so again, stay tuned to our blog when we announce who those community organizations will be that will be offering those services and how to access them. So now we will, I think all the documents have been uploaded, and now we are opening questions. So I'm going to unmute everybody, and then if you would like to ask a question, all you have to do is unmute yourself on your side and speak up. If you have the video, your little face will pop up, and that would be fun to be able to see other people, because right now I'm just talking to a screen. But you can pop in with any questions, or you can type it in the IM box on the side. So ask away. Anyone? We have data and evaluation here. Anne can answer questions. I can start with some frequently asked questions that we've been hearing in our roadshow. One of the ones that I get, I'm the 5 to 24 program and policy manager, and so I get a lot of questions of what's the difference between youth development and out of school time. And I can say that with out of school time, we are partnering with Schools Out Washington that has been doing a lot of great work in King County around developing a system for out of school time providers. And so we are partnering with them to help us RFP about, we're partnering with them to RFP out that bucket of money, and we'll be working very closely with them to shape that strategy. The youth development one will be is not necessarily happening out of school time or in the summer. And it's focusing on the 4 areas that I mentioned. So that's mentoring, youth leadership, positive identity development, and healthy relationships. And it may be it may not require as much of systems building work as the out of school time work may. The out of school time will also have a piece to it that is quality youth program assessment. So I see that we have a question. I'll do the first question and see if I can scroll up a little bit. Somebody talk about more about the community-based parenting support. I have not covered that. And that is in our prenatal to 5 strategy area. And that is focusing on prenatal, peer-to-peer parenting support, as well as, so it could be parenting classes, it could be parent support groups, it could be focusing on a specific a specific issue that a group of children or parents are facing. So that's really driven by the needs of the community. Does that answer your question, Kelly? Great. All right, so we have another question. I don't know if anybody's just calling in. So one of the questions about developing performance measures, and it says, does this mean the ones in the application can change over that post-award and pre-contract period? So I'm passing off to Anne, sorry.
I can talk about this some more without trying not to knock over these things behind me. So this is going to vary definitely by the type of application, the type of work. So if there are specific performance measures stated in the RFP, then those are going to be performance measures that we want to work with you to measure. But that doesn't mean that we couldn't develop additional performance measures that could be useful for you and the county. I hope that answers the question. I know it's a little bit vague, but there's certain types of work that have really well-established performance measures that are evidence-based, and we want to keep working with those when possible. Any other questions? Okay, let's read this one.
All right, this one says, hi. Somebody's an executive director of a mentorship nonprofit. But what would be the best RFP for us to explore? We will submit. Okay. Well, if I definitely see mentorship. So I would suggest the youth development RFP. I'm not sure when this type of mentoring goes on, but if it's throughout the school day or not specifically an out of school program, then if your goal is providing mentorship to young people, I would definitely look at the youth development RFP, which should be coming out in June. Yeah, so in schools and out of school in summer, and so yeah. So I would do the youth development RFP that's coming out in June. Any other questions? No. Let me see if I can think of some of the other FAQs. Oh, for data collection and evaluation, are you looking at utilizing any type of common data collection system? Well, any type of longitudinal data be collected over the duration of the 5 years. I'm passing this on to Anne.
At this point, we've explored options for longitudinal data collection. Okay, this is not working. However, a common data collection system across all of our grantees, there could be 150 different grantees in Best Arts for Kids. It's probably not going to be feasible. So longitudinal data collection might happen within some specific programs, but not across all of the body of Best Arts for Kids work.
But you could be looking at population.
Yeah, so the type of data that we're really interested in is watching indicators at the population level, stuff like kindergarten readiness and on-time high school graduation, things that we think a whole lot of different programs are going to affect, and we'll be watching at the county level how those measures are changing.
Great, thanks, Anne.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got another question. It says, can an organization submit proposals for multiple RFPs? And the answer is yes. And I would, as I said before, I would really stress to make sure that you pick the right RFP for your program. And there will be, you'll see some similarities across the RFPs in terms of the narrative questions, and feel free to cut and paste. We don't mark off for that whatsoever, but just make sure that the question, your answer is actually answering the question that's being asked. So while we support cutting and pasting, I just want to drive that point home that read the question carefully. There won't be many narrative questions for each RFP, but just make sure that you answer that question as well as you can. Will you be looking at any indicators of overall child health? I'm passing it off to Anne again.
Let's try this again. Overall whole child health. There is a measure of overall child health on the Best Arts for Kids health survey. So we'll be tracking that, and that measures everyone in King County, and it asks parents to report on what the status of their child's health is. There's a lot of other measures that I think you could argue are related to whole child health, and you could look at our indicators website. There's about 30 different indicators on there that you could argue contribute to child health.
Great, thank you. All right.
When do your current RFPs, when do they due?
It depends on the RFPs. So, the current RFPs, the ones that are open, goodness, I should know that off the top of my head. I would suggest you check our website or go to the blog. I think I want to say that the trauma informed, I don't know when it's, yeah, but when is it due? I don't know the dates that it's due. June 26th. Thank you, Hannah. So trauma informed is due June 26th, and SBIRT is due, I'm not sure.
Okay, I'll go to the website. I'll go to the blog.
I'm sorry, I should have that information on the top of my head, but thanks.
That's okay.
Thanks. June 14th is for SBIRT.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks. Are there any other questions? Where can we see a list of all the RFPs? There is a handout that Hannah uploaded for download that looks like this. It's really pretty. It's purple, and it has a list of all the RFPs on it, and it also can be found on our website.
I'm going to weigh in here. So, hi, I'm Erin. I'm one of the comms people. And if you actually are on the Skype video call, there is a way that you can find all of them that Hannah has uploaded. So if you select the icon at the very bottom that looks like a computer screen, at least that's what I'm looking at. I hope that's what you see. There should be some drop down and be able to see attachments there. Great. It looks like some people are finding it, whether it's via the Skype or online. But you should be able to see all of the attachments that Hannah uploaded by going to that computer icon through that drop-down list. So hope that's helpful.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks,
I'm going to
Erin.
disappear again.
think of what some of the other questions were that we have had. Again, if you have specific questions about specific RFPs that are open, those can go through the county. We also often get a lot of questions about collaboration. Is collaboration good for my proposal? Is it bad for my proposal? Well, we love collaboration and we support it. We have decided that it's not going to either positively or negatively affect an application, because we're looking at all of our processes through a social justice and equity lens. Sometimes collaboration means different things to different people, and excuse me, and sometimes smaller culturally specific organizations don't get what they need to actually really run their programs when they collaborate with larger organizations. So we're really looking at sort of leveling the playing field and getting people what they need in order to run their programs. And that may be through collaboration or it may not be. So we've decided that will be just whatever. You can do it if you'd like, but it's absolutely not required. How will you notify communities when you're visiting? For our roadshow, we had a list of dates on our website for roadshow community meetings. And she'd love to visit where. Here in Vashon. Oh, I'm sorry you missed us in Vashon. We've been out there twice, as a matter of fact. So we're doing large road shows. We're doing about 11 of them. How many more do we have left, Carrie?
3.
We have about 3 more left in various different places. But we also are attending small any size really meeting that people invite us to. So if you're having a meeting with a couple of organizations, if you have a collaboration in your community that you would like us to come talk to, we are happy to do that. So we'd be happy to come to your meeting. You can get in touch with Carrie Wade at it's kwade at kingcounty.gov, and you can set up a time for one of us to come out and answer any more questions. We got another question about whether organizations can apply for multiple projects and programs under one RFP. Yes. So recognizing that there are some large organizations that work all over the county and they do different programs that might fall under the same RFP, yes. Communities can apply for different, organizations can apply for different projects and programs under the same RFP. And yes, I'm very sorry that you missed us in Vashon. Sometimes local newspapers and newsletters do pick up on when we're coming. Yes, we're doing this on a very compressed timeline, wanting to get the information out to communities as much as possible. So we're sorry that you missed us on Vashon. But we'll come back out. I love Vashon. So, there any other questions? Okay. Anybody else typing? So somebody's asking if the 6 weeks between the RFP and the application is a minimum or a maximum. I think it's a minimum of 6 weeks. We want to give people enough time if they have to collaborate or if they need, to really figure out what they want to do, to have enough time to bring those people together and have thoughtful conversations about what they want for their community. So that is a minimum. The out of school time RFP is, for example, is slated to come out at the end of summer, which we know is not a great time to be collaborating with schools. So that might be a longer open period. We're just aware that the longer the RFP is open, it just pushes back the timeline. So then, it just that much longer for getting funds out into the community. So we're aware that we're sort of trying to balance both things. Will there be any more RFPs focused on school-based health measures? So we have the school-based health centers that's come out and closed, and we have SBIRT that is looking at behavioral health measures. I think they're, that's a really good question. I'll have to think about that a little bit more. I think I guess it depends what you mean by school-based health measures. So there might be. Oh, that's right. Thank you for them. So what's out right now is the SBIRT is our mini grants. So those are really planning grants for a larger RFP that'll be coming out the end of the year or the beginning of next year, beginning of 2018. So that might be something to get even more in depth about school-based health measures. Is it appropriate for an organization to submit multiple RFPs for the same investment for programs in different communities? Yes. I'm just reading it to make sure I understand it. Appropriate for an organization to submit multiple RFPs for the same. So, so you're submitting applications, if I'm understanding this correctly. So one organization is submitting, let's take youth development, for example. They work all over the county, and so they're submitting it for different programs in different communities, or for the same program, maybe in different communities. Again, look at the eligibility and what the investment level is for that RFP. It may be that you could apply for enough money. The cap may be high enough that you could apply for enough money that you just have to do one RFP, one application, and say that you're going to serve all these different communities. And if it's the same program. I hope that makes sense. Anything to educate kids on keeping themselves physically healthy and active? Yes. So we had our Healthy and Safe Communities was open and has now closed, which part of it focused on physically healthy and physical activity and healthy eating. And so that was one way we're doing it. We also have some innovation grants that will be coming out in the fall of an innovation RFP, I should say, that's coming out in the fall of 2017 that may have some of that, it's possible that that'll have some about physical activity and healthiness. Are these current RFPs planning grants for potential future programs? I think you're referring to, Liza, to the SBIRT one, which is a planning grant. So I'm going to have to defer you to read that RFP really carefully because I believe they do explain that in the RFP, and I can't answer questions directly about that. Some RFPs, I will say, if they're mini grants, will be directly connected, like you have to apply for the mini grants in order to be eligible to apply for the larger grants. Some are not. Some are just self-contained mini grants. So you can apply for those, get the money for that, and then also apply for the ones coming later in the year, or you can just apply for the ones coming at the end of the year. I'm going to scroll up and see if I missed any questions, because suddenly there was a deluge. No, I think I got those all. please let me know if you submitted a question and I did not answer it correct or to your liking or in depth enough. Are there any other questions? Again, we are available to answer any general questions about RFPs that are not currently open. If you have questions about the current open RFPs, you can submit them directly to the county. You can find that information in the directions of the RFP. And then you can also check out our website to see. We just got in the question, will there be any more RFPs directed at early learning? A lot of early learning RFPs are coming out in the fall. We have infant childhood, early childhood mental health, a workforce RFP that's coming out in the fall, child care health consultations fall. So there'll be, and the parent support and home-based. So in the home-based, another organization that we're partnering with is United Way of King County for our home-based services. So that's really focusing on PCHP, which is the Parent-Child Home Program. United Way has been doing that for years and years and years, so it didn't make sense for us to build a whole system when they already had the system built. So we are partnering with them to expand Parent-Child Home Program. There will be also other opportunities to RFP opportunities for us to do more work on home-based early learning as well, besides Parent-Child Home. And then there's another RFP that's labeled community-based and evidence-based models for home-based services that's coming out this summer as well. Oh, wonderful. Thanks, Hannah Locke. Hannah Locke just joined in from United Way King County, and she put her email in the chat box. So if anybody has questions about PCHP, they could do that. So, any other questions? All right. You want me to say your email out loud? Yes. Okay. Hannah Locke is HLOCKE@uwkc.org for those of you who are on the phone only. All right. See if anybody else is typing, because every time I think we're over, I get a whole bunch more. All right, well, we're really excited to be partnering with you all and to see what exciting things we can make happen in the county over the next few years and for our kids. And so thank you so much for joining us on our very first webinar and bearing with us. And we really appreciate all your questions and thoughtfulness. All right. Thanks. Have a great day. Enjoy your weekend.